So welcome to MC Moments, and in this particular season where there's a lot of changes happening, and of course not just in the world of the economy as we know, but also in the digital world, it is better to ask questions, and who else is better to answer this than Bitange Ndemo himself, who personally I think I would prefer him to call him as the father of the digital era in this country. Why? Because a lot of changes happened in the era when he was at the helm of leadership. Professor, welcome so much, and thank you so much for joining us here at the MC Moment.
Thank you.
Great. I just want to ask you quickly, how are you doing first of all in this season? It's good to just check up on you.
I'm doing wonderful. I'm able to run 10-15K daily.
Wow. Okay, that's good. So you want to tell me this season has given you more time in your hands that you're able to do these things?
You don't get such time any period of time.
I know. The other time we had a meeting with you, you told me you are now big into teaching. I don't know, are you still having time to do that? Are you doing these things online?
Yes, we are finishing the semester now. Mm-hmm. We are beginning exams, I think, in another week or two.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
It's been a wonderful experience because we had been looking forward to this, to leverage technology in order to teach.
Okay.
Especially to teach those students who are far away, who can't get time to come to Nairobi.
Okay.
So it's been a wonderful experience.
Okay. All right, which now draws me to the first question, Professor. And I want to put it this way. Is this the beginning of a new era where now we are seeing a lot of this particular changes that we're seeing in the internet sector, all these things? Would you say this is the beginning of a new era, or this is already something we should have adapted to?
This is something we should have started a long time ago.
Yes.
Simply because education is rapidly changing, and because I'm one person who has been advocating that education should be customized to a single student.
Yeah. And
that is the direction where we are going.
Okay.
When the government was talking about competence-based education, they meant that we pay attention to individual students. Okay. And make sure that they have sufficient competences before we move them to another level.
All right. Thanks a lot, Professor, on that. I mean, the other question would be this. So for all the citizens, not just citizens, even globally, but particularly with centering to a country, is it time for us to have a mind shift on how we have been doing things?
Of course, and I think I did an article the other day. Yeah. And I said, whether you believe in prophecy or not, someone had touched the reset button, meaning we must begin to reset ourselves and begin to think differently. Yeah. It so happened that we are just beginning what is called the fourth industrial revolution. Yes. Which we actually, if you look at the first, second, and third, Africa was behind, and we have been behind. And I think the reset of the button is to warn us that we need to pay attention to the emerging concept of digitalization of virtually everything.
Thank you so much, Professor. And you know, I can't fail to ask you this question because I know most of the viewers would really want to hear it from you. What opportunities do you see around now, especially for business persons?
Well, there are 1,000,001 opportunities. It depends where they are. Yes. What they must see or know is that the old business models are dying and new business models are emerging. That you don't want to be the last one to leave the old business model to join the new business model. Yeah. Because you will be swept aside and you cannot resist change. So everybody should be working towards. I have done an article for Monday, I think next week, which I'm looking at. If you have been following my write-up, absolutely, is that I've actually been shouting that we need to disrupt the this micro, small, and medium enterprises. How do we disrupt them? We want to enable them to streamline the supply chains, meaning that somebody who is in Kiambu should not have a problem to find a market. If we had a supply chain where they have their eggs, they can put them into the chain and sell the eggs. These are the new models that I'm talking about, but someone has to translate them to farmers. They understand it. The same way KTDA works in terms of aggregating the tea and marketing as for the entire people. We need to do that for every crop, every produce that we're getting from the farmers. That way the farmers don't lose so much.
Oh, great for that. Thanks a lot for that. You know, as you mentioned in that, I've just, you know, thought about how the education sector has been really grappling, especially for the primary school and high school level. Do you see progress being made to us probably achieving a situation where kids will be able to even learn from home, because there's a lot of challenges that some of them are complaining they can't have all these online things? Is it that we're way back, knowing very well you did a lot of work behind setting us up ahead even in this African continent?
If you think about the future, we should be very optimistic that the government itself needs to remove duties from broadband and the devices, so that every Kenyan can afford broadband. That is easy to do. Even telcos have actually doubled capacity at the same price, meaning they have technically lowered the price. The direction that we are headed to, where we leverage the digital platforms to learn, that is the area we ought to be. And let me explain it so that you understand. That the education we have had over years was a wrong education. It was meant for the industrial period of time, that you process human beings like you are processing manufacturing process. That this is standard 1, this is standard 2. But the education from those who have done research around it is that some people will take longer, others will take a shorter period to understand it. But eventually, you can take care of everybody. Those who are slow and those who are fast, they can be taken care of. That is what the modern education is trying to achieve. We move from mass education to customized education, where we focus on students and develop them to their full potential. What we have been doing is that we teach, and on the average, we get a number of them going through. Some we leave them in standard 8, some we leave them in Form 4, and then some get to university. If you started with 2 million.
No, go ahead. Yes, we started.
If you had started with 2 million, the ones who would be at the university would be like less than 500,000. And then we end up focusing on that 500,000, and we leave the majority. So this new education system aims to make sure that you get the full potential of every child. And that's what people are not asking. People are asking simple questions. Oh, there are challenges of this and whatever. They are not asking, what exactly do we want to achieve? We want to make sure that every child, we must be inclusive. And every child has the opportunity to learn. So the question should be, how should we do it? If 75 or 80% get it, how do we get the rest 20%? But when we look at the challenges and forget about the opportunities, then we mix up things.
That's very good to know, Professor. Now, my last question to you would be this, and I'm going to put you in the corner, because I know you also see opportunities and people really not opening their eyes wide open. Let me ask you a question. What are these low-lying fruits that if anybody watching this interview would grab an idea and say, my goodness, Professor made me see it? What are the low-lying fruits, maybe 1 or 2 that you're seeing that people have not tapped into yet?
Yes, I see a lot of young people come asking for jobs, and these jobs they are seemingly not there, but those jobs are there.
Okay.
I want to explain, and I want you to do that experiment for me.
Okay.
If you go online today, Google,
yes,
and put the word data analytics jobs in Kenya.
Yeah.
We have thousands of jobs.
Wow.
And Kenya is trying to look for people who can do data analytics.
Okay.
We have thousands of very well educated young people who can't find jobs.
Yes.
The secret is that in the digital space, the jobs would change from what we used to know to new jobs.
Yes.
So we need to continuously be improving ourselves to what we call lifelong learning.
Okay.
Even as I speak to you now, there are things I go online to learn so that I can be up to date.
Yes.
There is nothing that stops a fresh graduate in accounting to go online and study data analytics.
Absolutely.
And get the jobs that are so many.
Absolutely.
But people look at the word analytics and the fear. But if they get in there and they go through, most of those courses are free. From MIT, from IBM, they are all free, by the way. Some you can get from YouTube. You understand how data is analyzed. Because we are changing. That is what we call the fourth industrial revolution. Big data is one of the technologies that will be leveraged in that space. Then you have things like artificial intelligence, machine learning. These are things you can do whether you did science or you did history. You can change yourself to do those jobs.
That's true.
And if you did, you would get jobs. And then the policymakers are saying, oh, we have a mismatch between those who graduate and the jobs that are available. They would continue to change. Every other week they would change. So you don't want the world, you are the one who is supposed to change according to the world, not the world to change according to you. If they did that, then they will be going backwards. So we actually need to know where the jobs are, prepare ourselves, and get to do most of those jobs. If you go, say, Samia Park, right now, we have thousands of young people who are doing artificial intelligence related jobs. Some of them didn't even know the word artificial intelligence a few years ago. But they're doing those jobs. So we need to be flexible and be able to do the future jobs. That is what we call the future of work. The future of work, you prepare yourself for it. And you don't want to be helped in that space.
All right. Wow. Thanks a lot, Professor. And I think that really addresses a big scope of people when especially you touch on the young people. You know, I know I had said that's the final question, but there's something that just clicked on me because there's a time you were trending as a teacher, not just as a teacher, because there's a clip you did with Engage about how to find a wife. How did people react to that?
I think people did not understand why I did it. I was surprised that people were laughing, oh, it was this and that, but they didn't get the message, by the way. The message is that a lot of young people are committing suicide for being rejected. Or killing young girls because they rejected them. And my message was to young people that you can fail and succeed later. Actually, in entrepreneurship, we say failure is the best teacher. So even though so many women rejected me, I got married. So there is an opportunity for you.
It's good that you have clarified that.
People don't understand. People don't understand this. And the people just laughed and said, oh, it was hilarious. And I said, why did they not get my message?
Okay. It's good that you've had an opportunity to clarify that. We will shout about it, that rejection is not the end of things and you can still move on.
It's not the end of the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, Professor, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks.
All right, that was Professor Bitange Ndemo, of course, telling us the opportunities that we see during this particular time, especially now with the boom of online things happening right now. So I hope you got a nugget or two. MC Moments, catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.